All right, great morning, superstars. This is your host, Taria Hodge of Social Media Saturdays. And I'm super excited because we're going to have another fantastic and amazing episode. And today we are talking about, are you a generalist or are you an expert in your business? And I think we're going to have some fun with this topic of conversation this week because let me tell you, I've been in some amazing conversations for the past week, the past couple of weeks, talking to plenty of superstars. And these are just some of the issues. These are just some of the things that I come across in conversations that, I find it fitting to address on Social Media Saturdays. So if you are out there and you are watching, do me a favor, drop a note or drop a comment into the comment section on the video and let me know, Taria, I could see you. Taria, I could hear you, and we are going to be ready to rock and roll this morning. Okay, so I am trying to access my feed and I don't quite see it yet. And just give me 1 second and we should be ready to go. All right, I do believe, yep. All right, I have found the feed and we are ready to rock and roll. So who is out there with me this morning? I see that we have Deborah. Great morning, Deborah. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining another fantastic episode of Social Media Saturdays. Deborah, I want you to do me a favor. In the comment section below, let me know where you are hailing from, Deborah, where you are watching from. So just go ahead and drop that into the comment section. And I see that Charette is out there this morning. Great morning to you, Charette. How are you? Thank you so much for jumping on and joining another amazing episode of Social Media Saturdays. Like I said, we're going to have an exciting time today. Lots of questions I've gotten for the past week or so. Some of the topics of conversation I decided to bring here, to you guys so we could have an open discussion. And as you probably saw the announcement, the topic for today is, are you a generalist or are you an expert in your business? So how do you show up in your business? And then what's required to get you to the next level of mastery? So that is what we are going to unpack today on this call. So if you're out there, you're watching, just go ahead, drop me a line. Let me know where you are watching from. And then I also want you to put into the comment section who you serve in your business. So I see that Anila has just jumped on. Great morning to you, Anila. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining another fantastic episode of Social Media Saturdays. Just put who you serve in your business. And then also put how you serve in your business. So where you're watching from, who you serve in your business, and then also share with me how you serve in your business. And then lastly, I want you to drop a link where we could connect with you. How can we connect with you? So this is one of the things that I do every episode, is that I ask my superstars to share a little bit about themselves, where they're from, who they serve, how they serve, and how we could connect. So why do I do this on every episode? I do this on every episode because I love the networking, the virtual networking that happens in our Social Media Saturdays community. And so if this is your first time joining us, Social Media Saturdays is an online broadcast platform dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and business leaders leverage the power of social media in their business, right? And I like to say shine. So on this platform, one of the things that I love is to show you how you can show up, how you can hone in, make an impact and influence, nurture and create an experience through the education that you bring to your audience. So that's what we actually do here at Social Media Saturdays. So don't miss the opportunity to let other superstars know who you serve in your business, how you serve in your business, and how they can connect with you. Because this is what I know. I know after the show, I go back through the comments and I connect with superstars, right? And then I hear from other superstars how they're connecting with each other and how they're going on to doing wonderful and fantastic things with each other. So don't miss the opportunity for you to do that. And then after you've done that, then I'm just going to go ahead and ask a favor of each and every one of you who's on the broadcast this morning, because I promise you the conversation is going to be hot this morning. Okay. So I'm expecting a lot of engagement. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your thoughts on some of the things that I'm about to share with you today. Okay. So do me a favor, look below the video and you're going to see the share button. Click on the share button and share this broadcast out to your network. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and bless another entrepreneur, bless another leader today on this broadcast. And I see that John Green is out there this morning. Great morning, John. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining. Congratulations to you on your new book. So I saw when you did the announcements for that. So super, super duper excited for you. Okay. And so before we get into today's topic, as you guys can tell, I'm itching, I'm so anxious. I just have a couple of announcements and a couple of shout outs. So I'm going to start with the shout outs this morning. So there's a couple of people that I want to shout out, a couple of my superstars I want to shout out this morning. So last night, I had the opportunity to attend a virtual pamper party hosted by none other than Lenny Udebak Fortson, and her brand is called Noteworthy. Okay. And so Lenny made the shift. Let me just say this, right? So, Lenny made the shift. She made a pivot, in our business. And a lot of us right now, we are making shifts. So we're making those little 1 to 2 degree turns that's called pivots, right, in our business that would allow us to stay on track and hit our goals. And so one of the things that Lenny does is she hosts a live pamper party, at her home. And so due to the quarantine, the stay in place order, right? Lenny decided that she was going to host her pamper party online. And let me tell you, what an amazing experience. I was able, had she done it in her house, I would not have been able to attend, right? Because you guys know where I'm at. But she did it online. And when I tell you, the experts that Lenny had that just spoke to wellness last night, it was absolutely amazing. The activities and the exercises that they brought and the mindfulness that they brought was absolutely amazing. So I want to give a shout out to Lenny for actually recognizing, right, that she had the ability to still do something that's on her goal sheet, but just to kind of like shift it around, a little bit and then make it work. The second person I want to shout out, I had an amazing conversation this week with another young lady called Tanisha O. Okay. And Tanisha's brand is Empowered Mothers. Okay. And one of the things that I got so excited about Tanisha is what she's doing with her brands and how she is helping mothers and daughters in their relationships. So Tanisha is putting together an amazing event that's coming up on, I think it's Friday, May the 8th, if I'm not mistaken on the date, right? So please take a look, keep an eye open for that. If you don't know who Tanisha is, Tanisha O, follow her business page. Her page is Empowered Mothers, okay? And so very good. She recognizes that Mother's Day is right around the corner. And so for a lot of us, we aren't able, to, spend time. I'm fortunate because I'm here with my mom, right? And I'm here with my daughter. So I'm with my family. But for a lot of people with the stay in place order, they won't be able, to physically spend time, with their family and do the things that they normally would do on a Mother's Day. So she's having a wonderful event that she's kicking off. So I just wanted to shout Tanisha out for that. Great, great, great conversation we had this week. And then also for those of you who have heard me speak about the Pivot Conference, that's a conference that's coming up on May the 16th. And it's a platform that we're hosting several of, my business leaders, my collaborators, people that I partner with in my business. We're putting together, a team of experts. So we have 4 awesome keynoters, over 20 guest trainers and experts to come in and once again share their knowledge and their expertise as to what we can do as entrepreneurs in this space that would allow us to pivot our business online, right? And so that seems to be like the hot the hot topic, right? So a lot of us are, experiencing the effects of COVID-19. We can't do business the way that we're accustomed to. So there's a lot of speakers who are grounded. You can't travel, you can't speak, you can't do that. A lot of event hosts and event planners, events have been canceled or at least tabled until the end of the year. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to bring the experts to you. Okay. And so you can go head on over to the Pivot Conference. So if someone can, please drop that in the comment section for me. Thepivotconference.com is going to be amazing. Check us out there. Like I said, it's happening on May the 16th. And I'm just going to say this, it's going to be unlike any experience that you've had when it comes to virtual events. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings and Zoom events, but the platform, I'm not going to sneak peek the platform, but the platform that we have decided to bring the conference to you will give you the full and true conference experience. So when I tell you it's going to be hot, it's going to be hot. I've been interviewing some of our keynoters and some of our trainers, and the information that they are, just excited to bring, is going to be hot. So once again, head on over to thepivotconference.com, and then you can check out the details of the conference there. Make sure you grab your ticket. And I see that Lashonda, great morning, Lashonda Bracy. How are you? Thank you so much for jumping in and joining us this morning on Social Media Saturdays. Okay, so now that we have gotten all the shout outs and we have gotten the announcements out of the way, we are ready to jump into today's topic. And this is a topic that I just can't wait to have a discussion around. Let me just put it that way. So the topic for today is, are you a generalist or are you an expert? Right? And I know that when people read the title, of you probably read the announcements for the episode, you're like, what is Taria talking about? Of course I'm an expert, right? So like really nobody really wants to admit that they are a generalist in their business, right? Okay, great, that's fine. But the real question is, how do you create mastery in your business? So that's the real question that I want to ask. Are you working towards mastery in your business? So as I was preparing for the episode today, one of the questions that came to mind, and it's a question that I'm practicing, to ask myself on a daily basis. And if you please allow me to impart this question on you guys too, okay? And the question is, what's required for you to reach your next level of success? Okay, so have you ever stopped to think about it? What's required for you to hit your next level of success? So I actually put that question out there, to a couple of groups, that I manage, right? And it was very interesting. Some of the answers that I got back. Okay. So one of the most popular answers that came back was, what's required for me to get to my next level of success is to be able to overcome procrastination. Right. So how many of you feel, right, like procrastination is like a big thing that's hindering you from your next level of success? Okay. And so if procrastination, is something that you're working towards getting over, just go ahead and just put that inside of the comment section. And so I know, I'm just going to be totally transparent. There's certain things in my business, that I'm working towards mastery over. One of them is writing. Okay. And I know when I'm procrastinating, when it seems like I have to go do everything else except for sit my tail down and write. Okay, you would find me probably washing the windows, okay, before I go right. Okay, so procrastination, that's one of the things. And I see Christine is out there. Great morning, Christine. Christine is hailing all the way from Italy, y'all. Christine, how are you doing this morning? I'm super excited and happy that you could jump on the broadcast this morning. So just drop a comment and just let me know how you're doing out there. And don't forget to share who and how you serve in your business and how we can connect with you. Okay. All right. So answers to the question. Other people have actually put out there that one of the things that they're challenged with is consistency, right? So they do stuff, and this is how inconsistencies show up. So inconsistencies show up when you do certain things that would allow you to achieve success, right? And then in your mind, you figure you got it. I got it, and then you're not mindful of all the things it took to get you to that level. And then you start to forget. And all the little steps, all the things that you did that allowed you to get to a level or achieve a certain goal, you kind of forgot about it, right? And so you kind of go through the kind of seesaw or the inconsistency, right? And so if you're out there and that's one of your challenge, go ahead and let me know, right? If that's what you're kind of struggling with, you're looking at ways on how you could become more consistent in your business. Hi, Audrey. Thank you so much for jumping on. Okay. All right. And someone also put inside of the group that not having a blueprint or not having a plan, right? Or not having help, not having a coach, or not having an assistant. Those are the things that they need to help them get to their next level of success, right? And then I thought another answer that I received was very interesting, was suffering from the perfectionist syndrome, right? So some of us actually realize that in our desire to be perfect, is actually holding us back. Okay. So I'm just going to ask a question to each of you who are watching, today. What is required for you to get to your next level of success? So as you ponder that question, and like I said, you could drop your comments and let me know your thoughts into the comment section, because it's different. Like you said, like I shared, different people, are sharing different things that they have recognized that they need to work on or they need to master that would allow them to get to the next level, right? So if you're watching, just go ahead, drop a note, let me know, what do you think is required for you to get to your next level of success? Put that inside of the comment section, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because this is a question that I ask myself now every day. Okay. So what's required, for me to get to the next level of success? So the next level of success could be success in my business, right? It could be success in my life. It could be success in the relationship, that I have with others, the relationship with my kids, the relationship with my parents, my family, my team. What's required, okay, for us to get to our next level of success? And so if you are not asking yourself that question, I'm going to implore you to ask that question, because here's what I found. Once you keep asking yourself that question, it's so amazing how the brain goes into finding answers, right? And the brain actually, helps you figure out some of the things that you need to do and some of the things that you need to go after. Okay. So one of the conversations that I had this week that really kind of sparked the question for me was that, I'm working with clients, and I see the challenges, I see the roadblocks, right? And what I also see is how unfair and how unjustly they're beating themselves up. Okay. And I really want you guys to get this. Okay, because social media, and even though, I'm a social media strategist, and, I leverage the power of social media in business, and I show other entrepreneurs and leaders how to do that, it's one of those things that I pay close attention to. And I take a look at all of the psychological things that happen with people on social media. Okay. And so one of the things that I see is the comparison syndrome. Okay. So I see people who are constantly looking at other people on social media, and they're measuring themselves, right? And they're so harsh on themselves when they go through the comparison. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with having a rival. So how many of you know the difference between a rival and being in competition with someone? So I'm just here to say we are never in competition with anyone. That's the first thing. The only person that you should be competing against is the person who you were yesterday. Okay, so once again, going back to the question, what's required to get to the next level of success? So there's nothing wrong though with taking a look and saying, you know what, this is where I desire for my brand and my business to be. And so what are the steps that I need to do to take there to get there, but to before we even get there, to honestly take an assessment and know where we are. So this is what I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of people and having conversations with a lot of people who are comparing themselves or comparing their brands, to some of the influencers who are out there, people who have been doing this for over 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Okay. They have put in their skin in the game. They have invested millions of dollars to get their business where their business is. The long story short, it did not happen overnight. And then you're stepping in and you're in the beginning stages of your entrepreneurial journey, and you're literally beating yourself up because you want to have the results that they're having. Okay. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that because I think it's something that's not talked enough in the marketplace. So as we go through the conversation today, if you guys have any thoughts, any insights that you would like to impart on the conversation, please drop them into the comment section below. Okay. And so one of the things that I wanted to start off talking about is actually doing an honest assessment of where you are in your business. Okay. So there are levels, and I'm going to share with you 4 levels today. Okay. 4 levels that I have identified. Okay. For some people, they may have identified more, but I've identified 4 levels. Okay. And we're going to talk about those 4 levels a little bit today. Okay. And then I'm going to, share with you some of the things that you need to be focused on when it comes to getting to your next level of success. Okay. So the first level that I'm going to talk about is the entrepreneur. Okay. So how many of you know what a entrepreneur is? And if you don't know, don't feel bad because I think I kind of made the word up. Okay. So have you ever heard of a entrepreneur before? Okay, because I want to tell myself that I'm so clever that I made it up, right? But anyway, if not, if it's out there and you know what it is, good. But here's the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the person who is thinking about entrepreneurship, but they have not crossed over into entrepreneurship as yet. Okay, so this is the person who has the passion or they have the dream. Okay, and the thing that's really stopping them from going after the dream is that the fear. Okay. And one of the biggest fear that they have is that will I be able to sustain my lifestyle, stepping out into entrepreneurship? So it's kind of safe and it's kind of comfortable, being on a 9 to 5, because one of the things that you get with a 9 to 5 is like a steady paycheck. Right? How many of you could identify? You remember those days, right? When the money came like every 2 weeks, or the money came like every week. Okay. And so they are, kind of teetering on that decision whether they should leave their 9 to 5 or step on into the journey full time of entrepreneurship. And as many people say, take the leap. Okay. So, how many of you out there this morning would say that you are a entrepreneur? And if you are, if that's the level that you're on, I want you to place a 1 in the comment section. And so let me just kind of give a disclaimer, because this talk today is not designed to beat anybody up. Okay, so I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not talking, because I see that a lot in the marketplace as well. Okay, that in the hopes to sell products and services, people really do such a bad job, in doing that, and they really make people feel bad about where they are. Okay. And so no one really wants to really sit down and do the assessment, right? And say, you know what, honestly speaking, this is where I am. Okay. So this is not that type of conversation today. Okay. And so if you are, like I said, in your 9 to 5, and you are thinking about entrepreneurship and you haven't made the decision, right, to step over full time into entrepreneurship, I want you to put a 1 into the comment section. Okay. And I know I do serve superstars, like that as well. Right. So, a lot of times people say, well, that's not my audience. I don't want to work with them because they can't make a decision. Right. Okay. All right. So if that's you, if you're the entrepreneur, just go ahead and drop a 1. Okay. The next level, if you are the solopreneur, and I know many of you have heard of this before, the solopreneur, right? And so what does the solopreneur look like? So the solopreneur is the person who has made the decision and they have stepped into entrepreneurship. So congratulations, you are here. Right? And so you're on this journey and you started out on the journey so excited. And then guess what? You realize that it's a lot of work. And then you're doing the work all by yourself. So solopreneurs, they have specific challenges. Okay. And so some of the challenges that solopreneurs are facing is that they're trying to figure out, okay, what the products and services are. So you have an idea, you have an idea of your product and your service, you know how you want to serve in the marketplace, but you're still at the point where you're testing, okay, or you're bringing your product and your service or your idea to the marketplace, and you're trying to see if that idea or that service will gain traction. Okay, so how many of you are at the solopreneur level? Okay, or you're defining your business model. Okay, you haven't quite nailed down what your business model is. And when I say business model, this is another thing that I want to bring attention to. There are so many different things that we can do out there as businesses, right? But the question really becomes, what's the model that you are going to follow and you are going to go hard, okay, for that model, and you're going to build it out, get it up and running, make it profitable before you start to take a look at another model. Because here's how it shows up. It shows up that you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, but you're not really gaining traction, okay, in anything. So you all know what it looks like when our focus is scattered, right? When our focus is scattered, we do a whole bunch of things, but we really don't do anything really well. So what's your business model that you are focusing on and that you are dedicated to building? So solopreneurs, they're still trying to figure this out. Okay. And then another problem or challenge, I should say, that's unique to solopreneurs. What they're working on is they're working on stabilizing their income. Right. So yes, you do have services that you offer, things that you put out there in the marketplace. But when you take a look at your revenue kind of looks like this. Okay. So how many of you could identify with that? Like some months, your revenue is like on top and you're like, yeah, this is a good month, right? Or this is a good period. However, it might last more than months, right? Or this is a good cycle, however that is, whatever that is for you. And then it seems like, you have periods of time when you go like, what the heck? Okay, what just happened? Okay, and then so you experience those dips in your income. Okay, and so those are some of the challenges that are unique to solopreneurs. Okay, and so if you are at that level, just go ahead and drop a 2 into the comment section and let me know that, Taria, hey, I am at the solopreneur level, and these are the challenges that I face in my business, because I promise you we're going to address them. Right? Okay. And so the next level that I'm going to talk about is the expert level. Okay. And I know I should be seeing some numbers. I'm not seeing any numbers yet, but I should be seeing some numbers here. Okay. So the next level is the expert level. So if you are at the expert level, I want you to type a 3 into the comment section this morning. Okay, so how many experts do we have in the house? And so what are some of the characteristics of an expert? So some of the characteristics of an expert is that they have defined their products and services, right? They have figured out a way to stabilize their income so they don't have or experience those dips into their income. And what they're working towards is increasing their market reach. Okay. And they are at the position where they are ready to scale their business. So, how many of you know what I mean by scale the business? Okay. So, it's a word that, marketers use, business people use, but do you actually understand what scaling your business means? So, if the term scaling is kind of new for you, I'm going to break it down. Very simple. All scaling means is you have your processes and you have your systems in place, and when you turn on the faucet, things are able to flow. You could handle the flow of business, the increase of business that's coming to you. Okay. So that's my simplified version of scaling. Okay. So how many of you would say that you are, in at the expert level, and then you are at the place where you are ready to scale your business? And so if that's you, I want you to go ahead and drop a 3 into the comment section. And I see Diane has jumped on. Great morning, my dear. Thank you so much for jumping on. Okay. All right. So if that's you, if you're an expert, go ahead and then put that inside of the comment section. Okay. And then lastly, the fourth level that we have our influencers and we have our thought leaders. Okay. So how many of my superstars would, say that they're at the influencer level, right? And a great way to identify whether you're at the influencer level or not, this is where, you're out there, you're traveling the world, you're having a great time, okay? And you're getting paid top dollar for what you know rather than what you do, okay? So how many of my superstars that are watching today are at the influencer or at the thought leader level in their business? Okay. So once again, this is the level where people pay you, for what you know versus what you do. And that's how you make your living, right? You're an influencer. Okay. And so as I thought about these levels and I started to break, everything down, the question still remains, what is required, okay, for you to get to the next level of success? Okay, so I'm going to check to see if I have any comments. No, I didn't see any numbers going up. It's okay. Y'all are a little shy this morning, but it's quite fine. But I hope that you're out there, you're watching, and you are taking notes. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to cover today is that the first step, in getting to your next level is to create mastery. So no one understands the things that you need to get to the next level and create mastery around those things. Okay. So what is one of the ways you might ask, well, Taria, how do we create mastery? Right. So one of the things that I'm going to share, and these are part of the conversations that I had this week, okay, is the first thing is have confidence in your ability, okay? Have confidence in your ability. And the first type of confidence in your ability that I want you to have is know that you have the confidence to figure things out. So that's going to be the first thing, okay? Know that you have the confidence within you, to figure things out. Okay. And here's the thing, the more you develop your knowledge, the more you develop your skills, the more you develop your experience, then you develop what you call competence. Okay. And so how many of you know when you know something? And I said this all the time. I think I was having a conversation this week. It shows up like when you are confident about what you know, is like you know what you know. And you are almost at the point where you dare anyone to tell you different because you know what you know. Okay. But what are some of the ways right? That you are working towards creating that level of competence, right, in your business. Okay, so what are the things that you need to learn? What are the things that you need to know? What are the things that you need to do? Okay, and then when you figure out those things, right, how do you approach them? And so this is another thing that I realized, that when it comes to change and when it comes to learning new stuff, it could be very scary. So, how do you approach it? Okay, so how do you approach learning new things? Okay, so do you shut down? Or do you actually get excited? And do you actually find yourself having the energy, right, to go after learning new things? Okay, and so I'm just going to share with you, I'm implementing some new things, new territory, right, in my business. Okay, things that that I've never done before. I'm learning how to look at things at new ways. Okay, and yes, it could be very, very scary. But as I ask myself the question, what's required for me to get to my next level? Oh wow, these are the things that I need to now put on my radar. These are the things that I now need to do. Okay, but how do I approach doing those things? Okay, so because it's new, do I find myself procrastinating? Right, do I find myself kind of shying away, like don't want to do that, or being stuck in the old things, right, that I've done? Or do I actually put myself in the position to gain more energy, be excited, and then go after learning new stuff? Okay, so that's the first thing. No, first of all, knowing that, when it comes to getting to that next level, you're going to have to learn some new stuff, right? But it's all about your attitude and how, you go after, learning new stuff. Okay. And so when it comes to learning, let me just throw this in here. How are you positioning yourself to learn new stuff? Okay. I remember years ago, in working with Nikisha, one of the things that we came up with is to have training Thursdays, right? So Thursdays, it's still the day of the week in my business that I dedicate to learning something new. Okay, so if there's a new software, if there's a new program, is there a webinar that, at the time I saw it, I registered for it, I couldn't watch it. What I know, more than likely, people are offering replays. Okay, so I have time on my calendar blocked off on Thursdays to learn new stuff. So do you have time blocked off, okay, in your schedule for your learning? Okay, do you get up every day and read? Okay, a year ago, I started the Black CEO book club. Well, no, I didn't start the Black CEO book club. That's an untruth. I took over the Black CEO book club. It was started before me, and then the wonderful young lady, Akia Taylor, who headed the book club, amazing things started to happen for her. Okay. And I stepped in to that role, right, to take over the book club. And one of the things that I became amazed about, right, is that I literally went from reading about 6 books a year to reading, about 35 books. I think last year I read like 35 or 36 books. Okay. And so when I tell people that, or when I look around that, because it's one of the things that we hear all the time, right? The most successful people, leaders, okay, influential people, they read and they're averaging about 60 books a year. Okay. And I remember when I heard that stat, I was just like, 60 books a year? How do you read 60 books a year? Like, oh my gosh, who literally has the time? They don't do nothing else but read. That's the type of life that I want to get to. I just lounge around all day and read, right? That was actually my mindset back then, until I looked at it and I said, you know what? I have to put a learning plan in place. Okay. So what's my plan to learn? And so am I creating the clearing, right? Am I making time on my schedule every day to read? Okay. Am I proactively thinking about what books I want to read? Okay, so I actually have a reading list, a list of books, okay, that as soon as I'm finished, with one, I know already what the next book is going to be. Okay. And then I have strategies around reading. There are tools out there, if that's what you desire to do, that will help you. Okay. So one of the tools that I use Audible, right? So I have Audible, I could have a physical book, and then I also journal to make sure that I am retaining the information. So what are some of the things, right, that you are putting into place that would allow you to learn? Okay, and to learn quicker and to learn more consistency. Okay, and here's the thing that I realize, like sometimes you just have to learn your way to your goals. Okay, isn't that amazing? You have to learn your way to the goals, to your goals. So ask yourself, what do you have to learn in order for you to achieve your dreams? So can somebody put that question into the comment section? What do you have to learn? And actually the question is, what do I have to learn in order to achieve my dreams? Okay. And the flip side to that question is, what in life or in your business did you not achieve because you were unwilling to spend the time and the energy to learn it? Okay? So those are the two questions. Okay? First, what do I have to learn? Okay, in order for me to go after and achieve my dreams. And the second thing, do a reflection. Okay, what in my life did not happen because I was unwilling to make the time, okay, and have the energy to learn it. And I'll share with you a quick story, right? This whole thing just had me thinking. I remember when gosh, I can't even remember the year, but when I applied for my job at Verizon, right? And it was one of those interesting things. The training period, was so long. We went through a 3-month training period. And when I tell you, I thought I was like the absolute worst, okay, because I did not know technology. I did not, use a computer before. I didn't have a computer in my house at the time, and laptops were, just coming into existence, right? And none of my previous jobs that I held before required for me to use a computer. Okay, so it wasn't a skill that I possessed at the time. And I remember, like, literally the first day of training, and I know you guys are going to laugh when I tell you this. I sat there in the room along with everyone, and I just had this look on my face, and I didn't say anything to anybody. And about after 15 minutes, the trainer, came over, and he said, what's wrong? And I said, I think my computer is broken. And he looked at me like, your computer is broken? Like, yeah, it's broken. I don't see anything. I see everybody else working, and you gave them the instructions on where they need to go to, and my computer doesn't work. And he just reached over and pressed the button and turned it on. So don't laugh at me, but that was literally my experience. Okay, I did not even know how to turn on the doggone thing. Okay, and I went through 3 months of training, and I would never forget this. Okay, a couple days before we were to take the final exam to leave out of training, the trainer once again pulled me aside, and he said to me, and he did it after everybody had left. He pulled me aside and he said, I really don't want you to be upset, but the test is going to be in 3 days, and I really don't think that you're going to get the job. He says, you do so well with your customer service, and you know the script, and you understand the products and everything. But the thing that you're challenged with is the computer. So you see, this is a fast-paced environment. So you're going to have to learn, in addition to making your sales and doing all of the other stuff that's required for the job, you're going to have to learn how to work the computer. And unfortunately, I don't think you're going to meet the time. That's what he said. I don't think that you're going to meet the time because it was a time test. And I said, oh, he don't know who he's talking to, right? He don't know who he's talking to. So needless to say, right? I did pass the test. I did beat the time and I did get the job, right? But what did it take, for me to do that, right? It took coming back in, after everyone, left, okay, to sit there at the computer. And I remember I used to handwrite my orders, And then I would forego my breaks, I would forego my lunch, and I would stay late, okay, on the job, and I would put my orders in, willingness to learn. Okay. So you can't be afraid of learning new things. Now, I'm just going to say this. That was my experience, right? And the crazy thing about it is when I stepped in to my journey of entrepreneurship, here comes technology. And literally, 10 years ago, I saw people so afraid of technology. Back in the day, it was arguments about social media. Like, why do I need to get on social media? I don't need to get on social media. I will do what I always do in my business. I will continue to traditionally market the way I always have. And here we are, 10 years later. Like, if you don't have a strong social strategy in your business, you're not maximizing the way that you need to. You're not doing all that you need to reach the right people, and not just reach the right people, but to keep the right people in your business. Okay. So that was another thing that I learned. Take a look at what's happening now. A lot of people, right, have ignored taking their business online. Okay. And there was just like, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do webinars. I don't need to do Facebook Lives. Okay. I don't need to do any of that stuff, because what I am doing now is working for me. And then guess what? Shift happens, right? Shift happens. And how many people out there now, are like, oh my gosh, I wish that I had learned this when I had the ability to learn it. Or I wish I started to put these things in place when I had the ability to put it in place. And so now it's not like a mad rush. Okay. And I'm just saying, I'm looking at everything. I'm watching all of the conversations online. I'm seeing everything that's happening, and people are asking me, how is your business? Someone asked me that yesterday. How is your business? Well, really, nothing's really changed for me, right? I'm still doing business as usual, right? Thank God for that. That's not a brag, right? But that's a thank God, okay? Because, years ago, when it wasn't fashionable, I started to say that I wanted to build my business in such a way that I could work from anywhere. So I started to look at systems, I started to look at tools, and I started to look at processes in my business that would allow me to do more things, in the virtual space and free up my time. And then here we are in this situation, right? And I'm watching, some people scrambling. I'm watching organizations like, oh my gosh, they don't know what to do. I'm looking at universities, their challenge, with their students, just because they didn't have the foresight or have the willingness, to learn what's required to take them to the next level. Okay, so I really hope that this is making sense, to everyone out there. So if you have a comment, or if you have something that you want to share in regards to your experience and what's required, or what do you think is required for you to get to your next level, drop it into the comment section. Or even if you have a question for me, I'll be happy to answer your question online. Okay, all right. And so one of the things that I did promise coming through this broadcast is that I would, debunk one of the greatest myths that we hear as entrepreneurs, right? And so, how many of you know what that myth is? Okay, well, I'm going to share it with you. So, one of the things that I hear on this journey all the time is that you have to outsource everything. Okay, and so that's the only way that you are going to really achieve the level of success in your business that you desire, is that you are supposed to outsource everything. Okay. And I just want to take a minute to put that into context. Okay. So I am not against outsourcing. Let me just say that. So I do have a team. And yes, I do outsource things in my business as well. Right. But the thing is, when I hear that conversation in the marketplace, I don't hear enough of when you should outsource and what you should outsource. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because it's not outsourcing everything. Okay. So the things that you have identified in your business that's unique to you in your business, those are the things that you do, and you outsource the rest. Okay. So that's the context. Okay. And so let me just say this. I'm in this, space. Okay. This social media space. One of the things that, I get all the time is around content, messages in the marketplace. Okay. Let me just say this: until you have identified your brand voice and you get strong in your conversation in the marketplace, okay, you're not ready to outsource that to anybody. Okay. And here's why: it requires for you to do some social listening. Okay. So, how well are you doing social listening? Right. So, is that the skill that you need to develop to get you to the next level in your business? Okay. And so some of you might be out there asking, Taria, what is social listening? So social listening is like, are you really hearing and paying attention to what your audience, your ideal clients, what they're telling you that their struggles are, what they're sharing with you that the desire for their transformation is? Okay. And are you able to turn those things around into market messages and then pull more people like them to you? Okay. That's the art of social listening. And so one of the things that, my superstars, you hear me say that all the time. I'm having conversations. These are the things that people are telling me. And all I'm doing, okay, is bringing light, to the conversations that we're having. So I know, what the struggles are. I know where the challenges are. And I know the transformation, right, that my clients desire to achieve, because it's only because of those conversations that I'm able to hear it. Okay. And not only do I hear it, but I catalog it, I note it. Okay. I talk about it, I address it. Okay. We have conversations, problem solving, around it. So, how well are you doing the social listening? So, that's just an example. Okay. So, one of the things that I'm going to share with you when it comes, to outsourcing, okay, is you're ready to outsource something when you have developed a process around it. Okay. Does that make sense? When you have gone through it, you know what it looks like for your business. So once again, we're going to go back for content, right? So you want to have a content strategy out there in the marketplace. Okay, so have you identified what your content mode is? How are you going to produce content in the marketplace? How are you going to create, well, before, how are you going to create the content? How are you going to produce the content? And then how are you going to distribute the content into the marketplace? Okay, so do you know what that picture looks like in your business? Okay, and then as you define what that picture looks like, what are some of the things that is only unique to you? Okay, what are some of the things that only you can do? No one else could do it for you. Okay, have you identified what that is? And then everything else, have you created a process around it? So there's always a way for us to do what we do. Okay, and so we're going back to the masters. Okay, so for those of you who have identified that you are at the master level, here's one of the ways that you know that you have mastery over something. Okay, you have a system, and then you have a process over what it is that you do. Okay, and then once you have a system and you have a process over what you do, you could train others to that system and the process because you have developed mastery over that. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense because this is how it shows up. I've worked on teams before. Okay, and here's the thing, when you have other people, I like to call it being organized for help. When you have other people who, desire to help you, okay, and we're talking about team building, right? And you don't know how to systematically, get them to help you. What does that process look like, right? You haven't outlined it, you haven't written it down, you haven't put it anywhere. It's all up here. Okay, and I talk about that because that used to be me, right? Like everything is all up here. And so until I realized that, you know what, that's an area in my business that I need to develop mastery in because it's what's hindering me from getting to the next level. Okay. Until I got that, then I was stuck. I was frustrated. I was just like, oh my gosh, why isn't things moving the way how I want things to move? Why am I not growing the way I desire to grow? So I hope that you're really getting it, right? So everyone has their own system, their own process of how to do it, how to do what they do. Have you documented it? Have you laid it out in such a way that all you have to do is plug the people to it? Okay. And here's the really cool thing, when you do it that way, people will go and come, right? We see this in our business all the time. So many of us who are out there, we are growing our teams, right? People come, people go, like on your team all the time. Okay, but what doesn't change is your system or your process. Your process doesn't change. So your process is there. I mean, you might update the process, but basically the process is there. So all you have to do is just now add people to the process, train people to the process. Okay. So I'm hoping that has made sense to my superstars out there this morning. So before we wrap up and before we close it out, are there any questions? Okay, and like I said, the question that I want everyone to continue to ask themselves as they go along this journey is, what's required for you to get to your next level of success? And if you position that question every morning when you wake up, it's on the forefront of your mind. Okay, it's going to be so amazing when you look up and you see the things that you are growing into. Okay, and so I do have something special for those of you who would like to continue this conversation with me. If any of this has resonated for you and you're saying, well, you know what, there's some critical skills that I need to work on and I need some help to get to my next level, and you would like to schedule a call to talk about it, I'm offering offering a 30-minute discovery session. Okay. So in the comment section, if you would like to take advantage of the 30-minute discovery session and have some time with me, just go ahead and type the word discovery call into the comment section. Okay. Just go ahead, type discovery call into the discovery session. And what you receive is the link that would allow you to book your time with me. Okay. All right. So if there aren't any questions, and I'm just making sure that I am not missing any questions out there this morning. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm checking all my feeds that I'm not missing any questions. Um, Yes, and I see that Audrey's out there saying, what do I have to learn to achieve my dreams? And Audrey, thank you so much for that, Audrey. She says that it has been very helpful. Now I see the questions. This is kind of interesting because they did not show up, on the feed, on the page, but I'm seeing questions in the group. Okay, so I'll take a minute, I'll slow down. Okay, so it's saying here, thank you, Audrey, for sharing. She says, I'm at a level 2. Can you share your reading list? Audrey, sure, I will be happy to share my reading list. One of the things that I have done, I have put actually the list of all the books that I have read on a Google Doc. So I'll be happy to post that into the Social Media Saturdays community. So you see how wonderful it is to be a part of an awesome community that I'll share resources with you. So Audrey, I'll put that in for you. And she says, develop a learning plan. That's a very good idea. Yeah, so it becomes very crucial and very critical, right? Like we set aside time, to learn the things that we need to learn to get us to the next level. And we can't be afraid, of learning new things. Okay. So what do I have to learn to achieve my dreams? Thank you so much, Audrey, for sharing that. Let me just go ahead and make sure that I check over here and make sure that I am not missing any places where the comments are showing up. Okay, so I believe that I got all of the questions. Thank you everyone for jumping on and joining on this episode. And so once again, if you are out there, you're watching and you would like to book some time with me, just simply type the word discovery call into the comment section. Okay, and then you would receive a link where you could schedule your time. Okay, and so if there's no more questions, no more comments, I am going to let everyone go ahead and enjoy the rest of their weekend and stay safe, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.